Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. Central Time, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You know, you can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and we are syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast, thenewscasters.com, and all social media sites, as long as they keep me going. And it's been a long time since I've been canceled on Facebook and YouTube, so maybe we're okay now for a while. Never get taken off of X. So, and then we've got MeWe and all of those things, and I'm really excited about that. And we've got some announcements that are going to be coming up. We're growing. And so we're going to be moving into another area, and we're really excited about that. And going into that area is opening up more doors for us. So we'll be able to, more ways you can get in contact with us if you would like to. Continue sending your emails. It really makes my day. Donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. I've got my bestie right here. Her name is Ann Eubank, and Ann is with the Alabama Legislative Watchdogs. And I'm just telling you, you're like the best. And I say that behind your back, too. You should know that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm one of the few. So it's easy to be best when there's only two of you. Yeah,
it's easy to be a conservative talk show host when you have basically no competition.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I spend a lot of time reading the bills, which, you know, our legislators don't do that. When they drop 1,000 bills within 3 months, and, you know, it's tough, but I can do it. So I'm not sure why. I think that was what they're getting paid to do, and yet they don't. They vote like they're told to.
Well, now Congress wants more money.
I was so excited. When Elon Musk steps up and says, "Whoa, excuse me, if you vote on that, you're going to get primaried, and I'm going to put the money in to do it." Mm-hmm. So they stopped the omnibus, and it wasn't omnibus. It gave them a pay raise. There was all sorts of stuff in that bill that had no business being there. And even Tuberville, Katie Britt, which is surprising to me, said this bill doesn't need to pass. Even some of the establishment congressmen.
So how did this bill even get out there? Who's responsible for that?
Johnson put it out last night, and they have to vote on it Friday. And they're supposed to have 72 hours, 3 days, maybe 36 hours, 3 days, 24, 72, hours to read the bill. It was 1,500 pages. And the problem we have with our legislators, whether it be local, state, is they don't read those bills. And they have people in their offices that are supposed to be reading these bills. But if you've ever been to D.C., and I've spent a lot of time in D.C., the people in those offices are part of the establishment and deep state. Mm-hmm. They're not from, you know, like us, from this, some of them from states, but the people who do the actual bill reading, and they are Washington people. So they're not going to rock the boat on those bills. But I thought to myself, step one, Doge is telling you, you're not passing this bill without pain. So are you ready to take the pain? And the American people are demanding that they stop doing this. And we may lose Johnson as Speaker of the House, but he hasn't really been that good. Problem is, who will it be?
Will it be somebody worse? I mean, you have to
So and now because we have such a close count of Republicans and Democrats, there's not but 2 or 3 that made a majority, about 2 or 3. They have to make deals with the Democrats. And the Democrats say, we're not voting on it if you don't put this in or this in. And it's totally things we don't want, and raising the deficit. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, yeah, that's what we sent you there for.
Good old Donna here's got just a simple question. Okay, it's like common sense kind of a question because I own a business. I've been owning business for decades. Okay, so I never hired. I would have fired them in 2 seconds if I'd have hired someone and they came in demanding a raise like that. I would go, don't let the door hit you on the way out. First of all, you're not contributing that much to my company.
Right.
I've had people that I just said leave. You're not contributing, because in the real world, people keep their jobs for the most part because they're actually contributing to the company. I worked GTE corporate for a long time, very long time. It was up to me because I made commission. I was the government and corporate account executive. So it was up to me if I wanted a raise. I never walked into my boss's office and said, I want a raise. There was none of that. It was nothing. And that much money, I just had to apply myself and do my job if I wanted my raise. I was in control of my raise.
Right. I've never asked for a raise. If I got a raise, it was on merit for what I. But yeah, it was like $60,000 a year and more health benefits. I'm not sure how tone deaf you have to be to understand how bad the citizens out here in the real world, are hurting and not being able to pay for health insurance, not being able to pay for gas, for groceries. And even though the stock market was dropping yesterday, inflation's going up.
Okay. So like everyday people like me, okay, if you're drawing Social Security, it's pretty much a slap in the face. Okay, so you're getting less than 2% this coming year.
Right. Actually, I'm getting less than what I'm drawing now because the cost of my drug plan, the Medicare D, tripled.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting a little bit more gross, but after they take out all the deductions out of my Medicare, my Social Security check from Medicare A, B, D, and I have to pay C, I'm actually going to be drawing less than what I drew this year.
Okay, I want to ask another weird question. Okay, I'm just a commoner. Okay, so I'm asking questions that other folks ask. Okay, so do these folks in office have like the same health insurance we have? Do they have to make decisions based on that, like we have to do?
I asked Mo Brooks about that one time.
I'm just interested. I'm asking for a friend.
He said that they have to pay for their benefits out of their checks. They don't get automatic federal benefits. Now, the office workers do, but the congressmen, so they're basically either a very high level Obamacare, or they can go private and buy a very expensive program.
Okay. The average person, okay, so the salary now for Congress is how much? It's 100 and what?
100 and something, and they were going to give us 120, 130, and they were going to give them a $60,000 raise per year.
I thought it was more than that. I thought they were making more.
Oh, well, I don't think so.
Okay, my point is most people would love to make $50,000 a year.
Absolutely.
And somehow we can make it work better at 50 than they can 100 and whatever it is, $1,000. They can't make it.
Well, they have a spending mindset.
Mm-hmm.
They don't live in the real world. I think Kennedy from Louisiana probably does.
Oh, I like him. I love that guy.
How he comes up with those things that he says, but yeah, he's funny. And there's some like J.D. Vance. He came from dirt poor.
Uh-huh.
And he was one of the ones that stood up and said yesterday, this can't happen. This cannot happen. The American people put us here to cut this out. And I don't care if Donald Trump's not president. This can't pass. If you vote to pass this, the Republicans who voted are going to be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine with me. Yeah, it's going to be tough. I'm going to tell people out there, if you think you can go in and start cutting like they're going to start cutting and we don't feel the pain, you're wrong. But it can't be any worse than the pain we're feeling right now anyway.
Mm-hmm. So I've got a question for you too. And we've got a few weeks. I'm still not breathing easy until Trump is actually president, because I just know the monkey business that goes on in D.C. and other areas of the government. We're not home yet, are we?
No. That's why he's been kind of holed up in Mar-a-Lago, because he's a whole lot safer there than he would be somewhere else. Just like all those crazy people trying to assassinate him, they're not going to stop. And the more he talks, and what happened yesterday, the more the crazies are going to come out, because their gravy train is about to be cut off. And this was a prime example of how they're going to do it. And there are people out there. If we don't get back to some kind of moral turpitude, I can't imagine how these people think that it was okay for a healthcare executive to be shot in the back twice, and they think he's a hero. What part of that is right? I don't understand that. But yeah,
when Silk passed away, when Diamond passed away from Diamond and Silk, people were actually out in the streets parading that.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I just don't understand where we are. Sometimes I wear my "Who is John Galt" shirt because it reminds me of Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged, where the people lost all moral fiber. Mm-hmm. And the corporations took over the means of production, which is what's happening here in Alabama and all across the nation. The big corporations, the BlackRocks. I got my insurance renewal, my auto insurance. We have 2 cars. And it went, in 2 years, it's gone up $400. So I called my friend Ken McFeeters, who ran for governor. He's hysterical. I love Ken, who happens to be an insurance agent. I said, this is ridiculous. Find me something not as high. It's 2 cars. They're not new. We don't drive. Well, of course, I drive a lot, but my husband's car sits in the driveway most of the time. If he drives 2,000 miles a year, it's lucky.
It's like Phil. His truck sits right out there.
So he called me back. He said, I got 3. And he named 3. And he said, but Progressive is the lowest. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't have Progressive. And he said, Ann, I said, Soros owns Progressive. He said,
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. He said, Ann, BlackRock and Vanguard own every single insurance company in this country. It doesn't matter who you have. It all goes to the same place. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there thinking, where does that leave me? Mm-hmm. I don't know what to do. I don't want to pay high car insurance premiums. It's ridiculous at my age. No tickets, no wrecks, no, nothing. And I'm paying that kind of money. But insurance is just outrageous. Just outrageous. But he told me BlackRock and Vanguard own everything.
Yeah.
So doesn't matter.
I've always thought Coke and Pepsi were owned by the same company too. It's too obvious. Think about this.
Oh.
Think about it. Okay, when you see a Pepsi commercial, they're going to talk about Coke. When you see a Coke, they're going to talk about Pepsi. They're owned by the same people. Somewhere down the line, they're owned by the same joker.
Well, if it's got to be BlackRock and Vanguard, but Coca-Cola is definitely a separate company from Pepsi on on the lower level. Yeah, because an accounting firm I used to work for dealt with the Coca-Colas here in Alabama, Montgomery, Birmingham, and
Oxford. The one in Oxford. Okay, so I have a friend, Ronnie Farr, and Ronnie Farr, we graduated about the same time, Oxford High School graduation. But Ronnie has never, ever, and he's retired now, but he has never worked anywhere but the Coca-Cola company. So I remember one time he started at the bottom and way up the ladder. I'm talking way up. But again, he breathed Coca-Cola. I promise you, if you cut his throat, Coca-Cola would come out instead of blood. So anyway, what was so funny is Phil and I were living, I think, in Charlotte at the time. And all of a sudden on the world news, it said that someone in Alabama fired someone for bringing in, at a Coke company, fired someone for bringing in a Pepsi. So I called one of my other friends and I said, would that have been Ronnie? And she said, yeah, it was Ronnie. Ronnie made world news. And I said, there had to be something else to it. Because he was pretty lenient. I mean, he wasn't like the hard person to work with. And apparently there was something else. But they could fire someone.
Oh, absolutely.
If they walked in with a Pepsi.
My next door neighbor, Buster Cutcliffe, is CEO of the Birmingham Coca-Cola. And occasionally I'll see him and I'll make a cute comment about Pepsi, and he gets all. But that's okay. I drink Coca-Cola. My doctor tells me not to drink Coca-Cola, but
I drink Pepsi.
I used to drink Pepsi, but when they went to the new recipe, I couldn't drink it anymore. They changed the recipe of Pepsi.
Well, something else about Ronnie, when he got married, a whole bunch of people got together and put Pepsi cans at the back of his car. Made him mad. I mean, just like Alabama, Auburn, you think we're bad? He's bad about Coca-Cola and Pepsi.
I know. They do not like each other. That's for sure.
That's for sure. I got to ask you another question. Okay, so we've got, and you'll probably have the news on this, but, there have been, flying objects. I kind of have a theory. Now, when I was a teenager, you'd roll yards and stuff like that. I'm just wondering is this just a bunch of kids that are, what is this?
This is us. And we are searching for missing radioactive material that was stolen from a container. It's a medical equipment, radioactive medical equipment stolen from a container coming into the New Jersey shipyards. And that's what they're looking for. Now, the ones all across the country, I don't know if they're just using them for preventative in case that stolen radioactive material has traveled across the country and is headed to a certain place. I don't know.
Well, I would say that if you're going to steal it, you're probably not going to keep it in the area you stole it in. I mean, I'm saying I would think that you would want it transported to the other part of the country.
So that's what I'm hearing and what I'm reading, and all of the undergrounds that I get their videos. That's what they're saying, is that there's missing radioactive material that they're searching for with these drones that have that capability.
Well, little things like this happening make me a bit nervous before Trump can take office. So is this some elaborate scheme to get us all in chaos before he can take presidency?
Well, did you hear yesterday that Governor Newsom declared, Governor Newsom in California declared a state of emergency over bird flu in California. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yep. You know what comes next? What happens in California happens across America. Mm-hmm. They had one bad case in Louisiana of a person who was working with livestock that had been infected by bird flu. And that's basically how you have to get it. You have to be messing around in stuff and get it. It's not transmissible. But I read that the University of Wisconsin is working on, they're crazy people in University of Wisconsin, gain of function on the deadgum bird flu virus. Now, I'm sorry, that needs to stop. But by declaring emergency, bird flu emergency in California, gives the powers of the government to those agencies to go out and kill chickens and cows and quarantine and all of those things that they started doing.
Just causing a food shortage.
Yeah. And all the...
How can people not be on all this?
Fear and scales over the eyes to recognize the truth when it hits them upside the head. I don't think it's going to be as easy this time as they had with COVID, making the American people jump through the hoops. But I think they're going to try, because one of the scientists at the NIH made a statement the other day that President Trump was going to have to deal with another pandemic starting January 21st. How did he know that? How do you know that?
Are we at all surprised they're going to even try it? I mean, I'm not surprised. In fact, if he gets in without something like that, I'm going to be shocked.
Yeah, he's going to have a target on his back the entire time he's there, and that's why the people that he's choosing to be around him are Pete Hegseth, Kash Patel, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy. I'll tell you what, you cross Vivek Ramaswamy, you in big trouble. J.D. Vance. I have known J.D. Vance for a long time. I wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of J.D.
Okay, that guy had to go through some life harder than we had. I mean, and I thought mine was rough, but that guy, and I'll guarantee you, Ron Howard hates the day that he made that movie, because Ron Howard's a liberal. Little Opie is a lib,
big time.
Yeah, and what's the woman's name who plays his grandmother? I can't think of it. Glenn Close. Glenn Close. That's got to be killing her. Yeah. Because, I mean, man, I did not recognize when I saw Glenn Close was going to be in that movie, and I'm looking and I'm going, she's playing that's Glenn Close.
Yeah, she did a great job though.
Wow.
That movie, you need to go. You need to
see it. And you need to read the book, because the book gives more clarity to the way he lived his life. It's just, I mean, I wouldn't go against that dude, because people who have been put through the ringer their entire lives, they got a toughness to them that little panty waist people up in DC don't have.
No, DC is not going to know what, and that's why they're fighting it. Even the Republicans are fighting it. They don't want these people that they know are going to come in and straighten out these problems. And it's going to be rough on the American people, and we're going to hear things and see things that it's not going to be true. There's going to be false flags. There's going to be black swan events. And we're just going to have to pay attention and try to figure out the truth. My friend Dawn Ray went with me Tuesday, and she said I was shopping at this little craft store up in Pelham or Alabaster somewhere, and I saw this bracelet, and it's nothing expensive. It's just one of those little, little things like this. Mm-hmm. But it's got the word fearless.
I like that word.
Written. And she said, when I saw it, I had to give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be wearing it, because that's what we have to be, Americans. We have to remember where we came from and be fearless and take on anything they can throw at. They're going to be throwing. Even in the state of Alabama,
Mhm.
you're in hyperdrive to get their stuff done. I read the new WIOA bill, it's 400 pages long. I get so tired. Well, I don't understand. Why can you not bill that's not 4,000 or 5,000 pages long?
Because you want so much fluff in it that people are going to get aggravated and not read the whole thing.
Well, the good thing in this bill is they cut the WIOA training money 50%. That's a good thing, people. That's a good thing. Because
how much is the money now?
Oh, it's billions. Absolute billions.
Well, they cut it in half. They still got a lot.
Yeah, but it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt down the line. And the states are just, Alabama is in hyperdrive to get their program set up and paid for before this money, I think it's like 26, runs out. And what they're doing is destroying the American future.
Yeah.
Our kids. They're not educating them. They're training them for a job. Like I said, if you haven't read Atlas Shrugged, Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged, we are going right down that plan where the corporations take over the means of production, and that includes anything you do, they own. Anything you own, they own.
Well, when you and I were growing up, we had some ambition about us. I mean, we didn't want to live with our parents the rest of our lives. I was looking for the quickest way out. And, and just, I'll take whatever job. I don't care what they've got. I'll start at the bottom. I'll work my way up, blah, blah, blah. Well, we don't have that ambition anymore. You even have, I would have died had my parents said, I'm going to go with you, sweetheart, on your job interview. I would have died. I would have said, well, I'm not going. I'll just not get a job then, because I'm not going to go if you're going to sit with me and hold my hand on a job interview. But it's common now. It's common, Ann.
I wouldn't hire anybody who brought their parent to a job interview. I'm sorry. What is your problem?
If you came with me, if Phil and I, we just do everything ourselves. I don't even hire anybody. But if we needed somebody and someone comes in for a job interview and they had their parents with them, I'd go, so who wants the job? You or your parents?
I just can't imagine.
I'm just like, and if my son asked me to go on a job interview with him, if he had ever asked me, I would say, well, then I guess you're not ready for a job if I've got to go with you and hold your hand.
Exactly.
But you better find something to do, because you're not going to lay up here and eat all my food and do nothing.
Well, both of mine went to work early. I never had to say anything. I
didn't either. But I'm going to say, but I raised him that way.
Yeah.
And I also raised him. And people think I probably beat the heck out of him every day to browbeat him or something. And I didn't. He may have received 2 whippings in his entire lifetime, but I knew how to get him.
Yeah.
So one time he comes in, he's going out. I wouldn't let him date and go out until he was 16. I was that mean, evil of a mother, and he had to be home by 12 midnight.
Right.
And that was much more than my parents did. And I would remind him of that. So he goes out the first time with a bunch of his buddies. So he comes in, and it's after 2 a.m. in the morning, and he knew how I was. And I really didn't think he was doing anything, because he's like me. He goes and has fun, and he just forgets what time. That's what I do with the show here. I forget what time it is. So I got the lights out in the kitchen, because I knew he was going to come through the back and come through the kitchen, because he always does. I'm sitting there at the table, and I tried not to laugh. He looked so funny. So he opens up the door and turns the lights on, and there I am. And I'm staring a hole in him. And I'm just staring. And he wants me to yell, and I won't do it. And he said, "You're mad, I know, Mom, but we just forgot what time it was. Look, we've not been drinking. I've not been doing drugs." And I said, "That's okay. You can do whatever you want to do." And he goes, "I can?" And I said, "I don't care. You can do whatever you please." "But I'm 16, Mom." I said, "I know, but you can do as you please. But you are also a renter now." When you rent, that means you got to go get a job. You got to get your own kitchen in there, because I don't pay for renters' food. You're going to have to wash your own clothes. It means you're either going to have to buy a washer and a dryer, or you're going to go to the laundromat. It's up to you, but now you'll be free. You'll be as free as a bird. You can do whatever you want to do. Well, really quick, he saw I meant it. And I think what it is parents will say things and then they don't mean it.
Oh no, I used to tell mine, don't even think about it because I've already done it. I know what's in your mind, and trust me, I will know when you do it. Both my girls were, they would go, oh,
They're going to try, though.
yeah,
They're going to try.
Worked for Hewitt High School for the principal long time ago, and both of my girls went to Hewitt High School while I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And every Monday morning, I have a bunch of little guys come in and say, Miss Eubanks, did you know where Wendy was Friday night? And I said, no, tell me where Wendy was. And they would say, well, she was at so-and-so's party. I said, well, what was she doing? Well, just talking and dancing. I said, well, was she drinking? No, I didn't see her drinking. I said, was she smoking? Well, no. And I said, so she was at the party. Was she doing anything wrong? Well, no, but she was there. I said, yeah, I know. I know she was there.
Well, the thing about it is I never had that problem again. And so if he even thought he was going to be late, and I would say, look, I'm not your mommy anymore. Okay, you're a teenage guy. So you can find a restroom. I don't want you to call me in front of your friends. I don't want to be thought of as that kind of a mother. But now you can go to the restroom, you can do something, and you can send me a text, whatever you want to do. And so, everything's going to be cool, but I just want to know if you're running late. Never had that problem ever again, because when I said something, I meant it.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to go into a commercial break. Can you believe we've only got 23 minutes out of an hour left? Okay, let's go to a break. We'll be right back in just a minute. And I want to talk to you about the governor's race upcoming in Alabama.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
Good afternoon. We're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching. I know you could be doing anything else, but you're watching Ann and me. Ann Eubank, who's with the Alabama Legislative Watchdogs, and she's like one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. And thank you again. I like to say it publicly because you do a lot that people don't know about, trying to make our way of life the way it should be. And I appreciate it, and Phil does too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I have a lot of people come up and say, thank you for doing what you're doing. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to be doing it too. And Don, I know you do it because you're on radio and TV and podcast and all that other cable and all that other stuff. So yeah, we all need to be speaking out.
I want to live with myself, and I know you do too. And I not only, I mean, but I think we'll be okay. I really do. I think we'll be okay. I think our kids. I worry about grandkids ever owning a place, ever having a place to live. Are they
Well,
going to be renting?
my grandson already owns his house, but that was because he was raised by me, and he knew how to handle that money. My granddaughter is still in high school, so we'll have to wait and see how she handles it. But my grandson he bought his house 3-4 years ago.
Mm-hmm. That's
Right.
good. That's good.
Of course, he's
Okay.
cheap. He's very cheap.
Well, yeah. Well, so is Brad. And Brad and Larissa would like forget their billfolds when we go out to eat. You know what I mean? I think I left it on the dresser. And I'd be going, yeah, sure you left it on the dresser. But anyway, that was okay because they made it happen. I mean, they made it happen. So I'm proud of them.
Casey would call me when he's out. He works in IT, and sometimes he goes to clients. And if he's near here, he'll call me. He'll say, "Gummy, come take me to lunch." There is no I left my wallet. It's like, come pay for my lunch.
Just pay for it and be done with it already. Okay, we've got about a little bit over 20 minutes left in this segment. And because I let time fly by and I always do when you're on the show. So we got the governor's race coming up in the state of Alabama. So what's going to go with that? Any thoughts?
Okay.
Do you know who's throwing their name in the hat yet?
Oh, yes. A very strange one I got yesterday. Of course, Ainsworth is leading back, and it's going to be very, very, very difficult to beat Ainsworth.
I think he's the pick, yeah.
Even though he stepped off into globalist programs, which may hurt him some, but I don't know of anybody who's going to have the money, the backing, the name recognition that it'll take the dark horse and to come out and say, this is, and have the money to do it.
Where is he from?
Ainsworth, Guntersville.
Yeah, he owns a lot of property.
Yeah, and his dad owned a lot of property, and they're very wealthy, and so he's the leading candidate at this time. Then we have the only person that I think has the name recognition to beat him would be Steve Marshall. And I've spoken with Steve, and originally I thought he was going to go to D.C. with Trump, but his wife doesn't want to live in Washington, D.C., so I'm not sure that that's going to happen. But he's being bombarded with people wanting him to run for governor, and I don't think he's made the decision. But as far as name rec goes, he could match Ainsworth. Money-wise, there's nobody that's going to be able to match Ainsworth unless some of the big mules are disenchanted with Ainsworth and get behind Marshall. But we'll have to wait to see if that happens. Then yesterday, I got an invitation to an event in Montgomery on January the 15th, I believe, from Dean Odle. Dean Odle ran the last time when Tim James and Lindy Blanchard and that whole group ran against Kay Ivey. And it says he's going to make an announcement, and the rumor is the announcement is he's going to run for governor again. I don't think he needs to. I think he needs to run for state senator, state legislator, and go into the legislature for a couple of terms, and then, because most people think he's a little bit wacky. And I think if he could show people he's not wacky, that's, then
well, it depends on what your definition of wacky is, because you and I are considered wacky too.
No, we're not even on the same plane. So, but again, money's going to be
it's going to be a driving force in the whole thing. What about Lindy?
I've heard that she was trying to get another ambassadorship, but if she doesn't get one, there's a possibility. And she does have the money. She can self-fund completely. And she has a lot of backing down around Montgomery and South Alabama. Admiral Ken Davis, May, the one that Kay Ivey just fired from the VA, has been looking into. He's had people out with feelers of how many veterans do we have in the state of Alabama? We're talking hundreds of thousands of veterans, because this is a military state. It's a retirement state. Again, I'm not sure how wealthy he is, but I think he could probably, I don't think he can match Ainsworth, but he may be able to mount a campaign that would give him a run for his money. And then one of the concerned doctors was looking and trying to make the decision. But again, money, name recognition. So we got a lot. I know that Andrew Sorrell is not going to run for governor. He's going to run for Secretary of State. He told me that Tuesday. I know Wes Allen, who is now Secretary of State, is looking to run for Lieutenant Governor. He's very popular, very well known, done a really good job as Secretary of State. We gave him 8 things that we wanted him to accomplish, and he's accomplished 4 of them. So we can't complain. I mean, that's a whole lot better than John Merrill did. And I haven't heard from Mr. Merrill. I don't know if he's going to go state or does he want to go to D.C. You talk to him more than I do.
I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know. I know that he likes D.C.
So we'll see. Because he said he was going to run for governor. But he may find D.C. more to his liking.
I just wondered if, because he and Trump are friends. And he's in Mar-a-Lago a lot. And so I'm just wondering if he's going to be, somewhere in a cabinet choice of something. I don't know. That's what I'm kind of thinking.
It would be tough for John Merrill to get through Congress as a cabinet. Undersecretary, some non-confirmation position for him. But if he had to go for confirmation, he's been to China 3 times. And I got all of his personal stuff in the background that there is no question about what happened. It's not like Peach Hegseth, where this lady accused and there's no proof. There's no question about what.
But when he's in this part of the area, people love him. I'm just telling you.
I know.
They love the heck out of him.
I don't know. But
I think he'd have a shot if he wanted to be governor.
That's kind of all I know at this time. But, things change daily.
Oh my goodness. Alabama politics is worse, I think, than D.C.
Yeah.
I mean, these people, I'm talking blood. They, I don't know, you can get nastier than Alabama politics.
I'm kind of insulated from the nastiness to my face. They don't like me behind my back, and they're all sweet and kindness and light.
I've seen people run from you.
Yeah.
I have been to events with you with literally, the first event I went with you, and you said, well, what did you notice? And I said, people are either walking up to you, hugging your neck, they love the heck out of you, or when they see you, they run the other way. That's what I noticed. And I take attention to the ones who run the other way. Those are the ones I don't care for.
Yeah. So, and that's because they understand not my power, but my influence. I don't have personal power, but
you actually have more than you think you do.
I don't.
Yeah, you do.
But I have influence over conservative people, 35% of Alabama, and they all know it. And that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of what I'm going to say to people, and people believe what I have to say because they know I do my research. And that's what they're afraid of. They're not afraid of me personally or my personal power.
Okay, now you know Trump carries a lot of weight in the state, a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Who do you think he would go, I want that one? Who do you think that one would be?
If Lindy decides to run, it would be Lindy. If she doesn't decide to run, it's probably Steve Marshall. Because really, in fact, I thought he was going to tap Steve Marshall for the DOJ. And I think that Steve Marshall's wife probably said, I can't live in D.C. And
I can't say I blame her. I wouldn't want to live there either.
I don't think so.
Alabama's bad enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a cesspool. I know Phil and I have been to D.C. and there's just this nasty feel. There's just, I want to go somewhere and find a clean shower. If I could find one in this town. Yeah. It's nasty.
Yeah. And the halls of the congressional office buildings are even worse.
There's just something that just feels evil.
Yeah, it is definitely an evil place. And my discernment, I come back and I'm just like, it really takes me a while to express.
Oh gosh. Do you think, okay, because I'm a little confused. The Democrats seem a little too quiet to me right now. Well, they're like a child that when they get quiet, you better go find out what they're up to. What's your feel about that?
They're not sure what to do. They're in total disarray. Obama's gone.
I was going to say, put a fork in him. He's out.
Yeah, he's out. He really screwed up. And I think they finally saw exactly who and what he is.
He messed up about the black man. He messed up royally. Brad and Larissa live in Raleigh, North Carolina. And before, Brad said you would not wear a Trump hat or anything unless you wanted somebody to slap you or something. He took notice of all the black men who had Trump hats on and who had Trump shirts. And then so there was a guy right behind him. And he just looked at the guy and said, I like your Trump shirt. And he said, I'm voting Trump. And he looked at my son and said, I hope you are too. And Brad said, oh, of course I am.
I think when it came out that he was actually running Joe Biden and that he was very angry at Pelosi and he had to go along with it and losing and going out and telling all these black people, it's like, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black moment.
Don't talk down to anybody. Should never do that.
And he made the comment that I've spent 4 years getting to where we are and y'all are going to screw it all up. So he basically admitted that he had been running the White House, getting his policies done, trying to turn us into a Marxist nation. So, because that's what he is. He's a Marxist. So he's done. So now they got to figure out who they are. Are they transgender, far left, radical, or are they going to pull it back to the center? And nobody's really stepped up. And that's why they're so quiet. Once they figure out where they are, because they're all shocked. They cannot believe they lost.
Why would you be shocked? I mean, you get this cackling hen who's running for office all the time. She makes no sense. The only thing when I think of Kamala Harris, this is what I think of. So she has this little video thing going and she's just laughing like a moron. And then she said, you know what I want to change? I want to change Starbucks. And then, of course, she's laughing like a moron. And she said, because of the white lid, my lipstick gets on the white lid. So Starbucks could change it to a black lid. And I'm just like, normally I would laugh and I'd make fun. I didn't even laugh and make fun. I'm just
that's watching her.
Are you serious?
Watching her was scary that she could be the leader of the free world.
Well, she wants to be the leader of California out there.
They won't elect her in California.
Well, what's Newsom going to do if she does?
Gavin Newsom's on his way out. Trudeau is on his way out because Trump has destroyed them. And it's the Trump effect. And the people of the nation have had enough of this craziness. And somehow, some way, they finally found their voices. Our people finally found their voices to stand up and say, enough is enough. And I will have to say, it's probably gas prices and grocery prices. And you can't buy.
You hit my pocketbook, I'm going to take up. Yeah.
And more and more and more and more laws, and you can't do this, you can't do that, and they're losing the freedom. And when we lose freedom because of the bureaucratic state, then we are a Marxist nation. When the government owns the means of production, like they're doing right now, they've taken over everything, then we're gone. We're a Marxist state. And Christianity's taken a beating, and it's gone its way back. So, everything goes. The pendulum the pendulum swings. Well, it's swinging back, and they haven't yet found themselves. So it won't. I don't know how long it's going to take, but just expect.
If they would have found a more moderate type Democrat. I can't think of her name. That was, she was from Hawaii, who's Democrat, was Democrat, and she's Republican running, helping Trump. What's her name?
Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard. Okay. If they had stuck with someone like her, they'd have had a fighting chance. But no, she wasn't crazy enough. You had to be like a total crazed out lunatic.
Right. And I think
well, she has stability to her.
Men especially. Of course, women are always, we're all emotion. Excuse me.
You and I are not.
Emotion. I am just the facts, ma'am. But women are more emotional, so they're kind of lagging behind. But if you look at who's running the programs and the fight against all this transgender and library stuff and pornography, it's the women. The men are more into the fiscal stuff. Mm-hmm. And they in 4 years, they did a doggone good job of coming close.
Yeah, but this is nuts. Okay, so let's just pretend I'm a women's libber. Okay, let's pretend it'd be a far shot. But anyway, just say I am. Okay, and then then we have men getting into women's sports, and we all should have enough brains to know the difference between a man and a woman. I don't want to get like visual about it, but there's certain things that let you know the difference between a man and a woman, for goodness sakes. And if you can't figure that out, you need to go get some help. And I'm not being mean. I'm just saying I care for your life and how gullible you are if you really believe that, because you're going to wind up dead on the street somewhere. Okay. So I'm just, where were the women's lib? I would think that would really tick you off. The women who were doing this women's lib stuff, burning their bras and all that stuff in the 60s, I don't think would have put up with that. I just think those women would have went, hold it.
Well, those women's libbers who did try to say hold it got crucified. Billie Jean King came out and said, what do y'all think y'all are doing? Honey, they canceled her real quick. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we actually have a Supreme Court justice who can't define what a woman is.
Okay, that's when I got aggravated at Tuberville, okay? Because Tuberville wanted to sit down and talk with her. And he wanted to, well, I just want to talk with her. He wanted to be diplomatic and all that. And I'm sorry, but the rest of us were thinking, she's not fit to be a judge if she does not know the difference between a man and a woman. She needs psychological help if she doesn't know the difference between a man and a woman.
Right.
So you want her, you're going to actually give her a shot and talk to her about it. I'm sorry, I'm made differently than that. I would go, honey, let's get you some help. Then we'll talk next time around if you get a shot at it.
Well, the head of the NCAA said yesterday that there was nothing wrong with transgender men who identify as women going into women's lockers rooms and playing on those teams. That it's the 99.99% of the women who object that have the problem.
Oh, really? Well, I guess I got a problem.
He said that in a congressional hearing yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So we still got a ways to go. But like I said, the pendulum swing is going back the other way.
Okay, what's the first thing Trump's going to do to turn everything around if he gets in office? I'm still fearing that. Still fearing it.
The first thing is going to be the border. He's going to overturn the executive orders from Joe Biden on the border. That's number one. Got to be number one. We have to. Number two, he's going to start sending criminals back to the countries. Number three, if those hostages aren't home, I don't know what he's going to do in Israel, but I guarantee you they're not going to like it if those hostages are not home by the time he gets in office. Number four, he's probably going to reverse the loan payoffs. I know that they're going to have to do something to stop them from selling the wall steel in Texas. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it's going to have to do with the immigration and the criminals. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it has to. I think that's what got him in.
Yeah.
And I think you'd be amazed at the people who are living here who voted, and they're illegals, who probably voted for Trump. And I just want to know your opinion about this. There's a little thing about how you dress on election day. It's just a little unspoken thing that a Democrat is going to wear blue and a Republican is going to wear red. Jill Biden wears red. Do you think they voted for Trump?
I guarantee you they did. Both of them. Absolutely. They are so aggravated about what happened to Joe Biden. And in fact, who was it the other day said that Joe Biden would have probably done better against Trump than Joe?
I think he would have too.
So
he still wouldn't have won, but I still think he would have done better than the cackling hen did.
Well, you saw them talking in Notre Dame when that whole thing. They were laughing and talking to each other. I guarantee you they both did. Just like yesterday when he told Pelosi that he just couldn't understand, which was, oh my gosh, the height of hypocrisy, how congressional being elected to Congress, you shouldn't make money. And she's made something like millions and millions of dollars.
Pretty obvious, yeah.
Trading, which by the way is against the law. When he's talking about doing a law, we already have a law, but he did it too. I mean, my gosh, how many millions of dollars did Russia and China and Ukraine and all that and kickbacks? And
you know what, in the real world, what they call that? They call that a conflict of interest.
Well,
I mean, you can get fired in the real world for doing that. Yeah. Conflict of interest. And we got to go. Thank you so much for being with me today. It's always a pleasure. Now you hang around, so I got to get you set up for next month, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Love you bunches, and love you guys bunches too. Thank you so much for watching. Continue sending emails. It makes my day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.